second. Yes, we are online. Okay, gang. And then we'll chant a little bit before the CC class. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Guru More Tomamina Caitanya Jagat Samsare Matita Pamana Hetu Tavavata Moshama Patita Prabhu Napai Aha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Rupapalo Ganakaro Amiboruduki Dayakuru Sitapati Dvita Gosai Tabakripa Pole Pai Caitanya Swarup Sanatana Rupa Raguna Bhatta Yuga Shiva Prabhu Lokana Royal Guru Sri Acharya Prabhu Srinivas Ramachandra Sangamage Narottam-das Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Guru Tomamena Caitanya Jagat Samsare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Pada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Huri Bo, Hati Bo, Huri Bo, Hati Bo, Jai Gaur, Hati Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Bo. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhacharya Alstoteta Sitashi Shimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Das Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopikopatna Shyam Kun Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Mathuradam Ki Jai Jagannath Swami Ki Jai Yamunamai Ki Jai Shrimati Lasa Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharne Nivashesha Sunyavadi Paschacha Desha Tarani Somagana Timiranda Shagananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Meditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my divine spiritual master, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge, while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. Okay, today we're continuing with our study of the Sri Caitanya Caritamrta, and we are studying about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's tour of South India, and he has just left Jagannath Puri and gone to Alalanatha. So I guess we'll continue. And he's left Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and he's still with devotees like Lord Nityananda and others. So let's continue. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Okay, let us roll. Okay, we're starting with text 83 in the Madhya Lila, chapter 7, text 83. Satikala hayala loka charyanaya tabe nityananda goshani shijila upaya. All right. Seeing that it was already getting late, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, the spiritual master, invented a means to disperse the crowd. Madhyana karite gela Prabhu kelanda taha deki loka haise chodike dana. When Lord Nityananda Prabhu took Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for lunch at noon, everyone came running around them. Madhyana kariyala devata mandire nijagana praveshi kapata jila bahir dware. After finishing their baths, they returned at noon to the temple, and meeting his own men, Sri Nityananda Prabhu closed the outside door. Tabe Gopinatha Dvi Prabhura Vikshakaraila Prabhura Shesha Prasadana Sabe Vanti Kaila. Gopinathacharya then brought the prasadam for the two lords to eat, and after they had eaten, the remnants of the food were distributed to all the devotees. Shuni Shuni Loka Saba Asibahir Dware Huri Huri Bali Loka Kulahala Kale Kare. Hearing about this, everyone there came to the outside door and began chanting what? The holy name. Huri Huri. Thus there was a tumultuous sound. Tabi Mahaprabhu Dwara Karaila Mochana Anande Ashishaloka Paila Darashana. After lunch, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made them open the door. In this way, everyone received his audience with great pleasure. E Mata Sandhya Paryanta Loka Seyaya Vaishnava Haila Loka Sabe Nache Gaya. The people came and went until the evening, and all of them became Vaishnava devotees and began to chant and dance. How wonderful. Hey Rupe, say Tani Vakta Gana Sange, say Ratri Gunaila Krishna Katharange. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then passed the night there and discussed the pastimes of Lord Krishna with his devotees with great pleasure. Pratakale Snana Kari Karila Gamanha Bhakta Gane Vidaya Dila Karyalingana. The next morning, after taking his bath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started on his South Indian tour. He bade farewell to the devotees by embracing them. Murchitakana Sabe Bhumite Padila Tanha Sabapane Prabhu Pirina Chahila. Although they all fell to the ground unconscious, the Lord did not turn to see them, but proceeded onward. Vichede Vyakula Prabhu Kalila Duki Hana Pache Krishna Dasayaya Jalapatra Lana. In separation, the Lord became very much perturbed and walked on unhappily. His servant Krishna Das, who was carrying his water pot, followed behind. So this is also an indication that Lord Chaitanya was not stone-hearted. And the reason he didn't look behind, it was just so painful leaving. Sometimes when you're leaving someone you really love, it's hard to say goodbye. You're just like, all right, go. like that. You got to break it all of a sudden because otherwise you wouldn't be able to say goodbye. So Bhakta Gana Upa Basi Tahani Rahila Aradine Dukhihana Dilachaleila. All the devotees remained there and fasted, and the next day they all unhappily returned to Jagannath Puri. Matak Singha Praya Prabhu Karila Gamandha Prema Veshayaya Kari Nama Sankirtan. Almost like a mad lion, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went on his tour filled with ecstatic love and performing Sankirtan, chanting Krishna's names as follows. Wow. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 Rakshamam. Krishna, 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 Pahimam. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshamam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahimam. So the Lord chanted Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 Rakshamam. Krishna, 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 Krishna. That's next to Krishna, Pahimam. That is, O Lord Krishna, please protect me and maintain me. He also chanted Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshamam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahimam. That is, O Lord Ram, descendant of King Raghu, please protect me, O Krishna, O Keshava, killer of the Keshi demon. Please maintain me. So Keshava could mean killer of the Keshi demon, also could mean Krishna with nice, beautiful, long hair. It's nice, isn't it? Eish lokapadi atpate chalila godahari lokadeki pate kahi balahari hori. Chanting this verse, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, known as Gaurahari, went on his way. As soon as he saw someone, he would request him to chant Huri, Huri. Se loka prema mata hana bale Hari Krishna Prabhura pache sangiyaya darshana satrishna. Whoever heard Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chant Huri, Huri also chanted the holy name of Lord Hari and Krishna. In this way, they all followed the Lord, very eager to see him. Katakshanai Rahi Prabhu Tariyalingiha Vidaya Karilatare Shakti Sanchariya. After some time, the Lord would embrace these people and bid them return home, having invested each of them with spiritual potency. So, in his Amrita Pravaha Vasha, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that this spiritual potency is the essence of the pleasure potency and the knowledge potency. That's the Ladini Shakti and the Chit Shakti. By these two potencies, one is empowered with devotional service. Lord Krishna himself or his representative, the unalloyed devotee, can mercifully bestow these combined potencies upon any man. Being thus endowed with such potencies, one can become an unalloyed devotee of the Lord. Anyone favored by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was empowered with this bhakti shakti. Thus the Lord's followers were able to preach Krishna consciousness by his divine grace. So text 100. Sejana nijagrame karila gamanta Krishna vale hase kande nache anukshana. Each of these empowered persons would return to his own village, always chanting the holy name of Krishna, and sometimes laughing, crying, and dancing. Yarideke tarikahe kaha Krishna nama e mata vaishnava kaila saba nija grama. Such an empowered person would request everyone and anyone, whoever he saw, to chant the holy name of Krishna. In this way, all the villagers would also become devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In order to become an empowered preacher, one must be favored by Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu or his devotee, the spiritual master. One must also request everyone to chant the Maha Mantra. In this way, such a person can convert others to Vaishnavism, showing them how to become pure devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Gramantaraite dekite aila yata jana tanra darshana kripaya haya tanra sama. People from different villages who came to see such an empowered individual would become like him simply by seeing him and receiving the mercy of his glance. Sayai gramera loka Vaishnava karaya anya grame asitanre deki Vaishnava hoya. When each of these newly empowered individuals returned to his own village, he also converted the villagers into devotees. And when others came from different villages to see him, they were also converted. So this is the spreading of Krishna consciousness in an exponential way, not an arithmetic way. What do I mean by that? Exponential means, let's say here, 2 to the second power is 2 times 2. 2 to the third power is 2 times 2 times 2. So in other words, it increases dramatically like a curve that just goes up really quickly. So in the same way, Lord Caitanya saw, let's say Lord Caitanya saw 5 people, and those people saw 5 people, and each one of those people saw 5 people, and each one of those people saw 5 people, and they all became Krishna conscious. So you got 5 to the whatever power, the 4th power, 5th power, 6th power, 7th power, so it's 5 times 5 times 5. So in other words, first generation, 5 people become Krishna conscious from Lord Caitanya. Second generation, 25. Third generation, 125. So in this way, it increases exponentially. Arithmetically, it would mean 1 person saw Lord, or even 5 persons saw Lord Caitanya, and they would make another 5 people Krishna conscious. And each one would make 1 person Krishna conscious anyway. And so that would be 5, and then 10, and then 15, and then 20, whatever. Seyai aragrame kari upadesha emata vaishnava haila sabadakshina desha. In this way, as empowered men went from one village to another, all the people of South India became devotees. Jai. Emata pateyaite shata shata jana Vaishnava karena tanre karyalingana. Thus many hundreds of people became Vaishnavas when they passed the Lord on the way and were embraced by him. Wow. Ye grame rahi bhiksha karena yanhragare se gramera yata loka ashe dekivare. In whatever village Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu stayed to accept alms, that means charity, many people came to see him. Prabhura kripaya haya Mahabhagavata se sabacharya hanna tarila jagat. By the mercy of the Supreme Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone became a first-class devotee of the Lord, Bhagavat. Later they became teachers or spiritual masters and liberated the entire world. E mata kaila yavat kaila setu bande Sarvadesha Vaishnava Haila Prabhura Sambande. In this way, the Lord went to the extreme southern part of India, and he converted all the provinces to Vaishnavism. Uh, so the reason the southernmost part of India is called Setubandai, or actually Setubanda. Setubande means to the southernmost part, and the name would be Setubanda, which is the place where Lord Ram built the bridge, and the monkeys built the bridge going all the way to Lanka, or Sri Lanka, or Ceylon. Navadvipe ye Shakti Nakaila Prakashe Se Shakti Prakashi Nistarila Dakshina Deshe. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not manifest his spiritual potencies at Navadvip, but he did manifest them in South India and liberated all the people there. Now, Prabhupada explains why he did it in South India and not so much at Navadvip. At that time, there were many smartas, non-devotee followers of Vedic rituals at the holy place of Navadvip, which was also the birthplace of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Followers of the Smriti Shastra are called smartas. That doesn't mean they're smart. Most of them are non-devotees, and their main business is following the Brahminical principles strictly. However, they are not enlightened in devotional service. In Navadvip, all the learned scholars are followers of the Smriti Shastra, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not attempt to convert them. Therefore, the author has remarked that the spiritual potency Lord Sri Krishna, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not manifest at Navadvip was by his grace manifested in South India. Thus, everyone there became a Vaishnava. By this is to be understood that people are really interested in preaching in a favorable situation. If the candidates for conversion are too disturbing, a preacher may not attempt to spread Krishna consciousness amongst them. It is better to go where the situation is more favorable. This Krishna conscious movement was first attempted in India, but the people of India, being absorbed in political thoughts, did not take to it. They were entranced by the political leaders. We preferred, therefore, to come to the West, following the order of the spiritual master, and by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this movement has become successful. I just want to copy this and send this part of the text to someone. All right. Whoops. Hold on a second. Hey. Let me just do a copy and paste. And okay. Got that. Let's go back to. Hold on a second. All right. Okay. Therefore, the author has. Okay, we finished that purport. Let's go on to the next text. Prabhu ke ye bhaje tare tanra kripa haya say sabalila sacha kari laya. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's empowering of others can be understood by one who is actually a devotee of the Lord and who has received his mercy. Wow. Alokika lilaya yaranahaya vishvasa ihaloka paraloka tara hayanasha. If one does not believe in the uncommon transcendental pastimes of the Lord, he is vanquished both in this world and in the next. Pratame kahila prabhurai ye rupe gamana hemata janiha yavatakshina brahmana. Whatever I have stated about the beginning of the Lord's tour should be also understood to hold for as long as the Lord toured South India. Excuse me. Ematayaite yaite. Gela kurma stane. Kurma deki kaila tanre. Stavana, whoops. Stavana praname. When Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the holy place known as Kurmakshetra, he saw the deity and offered prayers and obeisances. Kurmasthana is a well-known place of pilgrimage. There's a temple there of Kurma Deva. In the Caitanya, it is said that Lord Jagannath took Sri Ramanujacharya from Jagannath Puri and one night threw him to Kurmakshetra. Kurmakshetra is situated on the line of the Southern Railway in India. One has to go to the railway station known as Sri Kakulam Road. From this station, one goes 8 miles to the east to reach the holy place known as Kurmachala. Those who speak the Telugu language consider this holy place very important. This statement is reported in the government gazette known as the Gonjama Manual. There is the deity of Kurma there, and as mentioned above, Srila Ramanujacharya was thrown from Jagannath Puri to this place. At that time, he thought that the deity of Kurma was Lord Shiva's deity. Therefore, he was fasting there. Later, when he understood that the Kurma Murti was another form of Lord Vishnu, he instituted very gorgeous worship of Lord Kurma. This statement is found in the Caitanya, chapter 36. The holy place of Kurmakshetra or Kurmasthana was actually re-established by Sripad Ramanujacharya under the influence of Lord Jagannath Deva at Jagannath Puri. Later, the temple came under the jurisdiction of the king of Vijayanagara. The deity was worshipped by the Vaishnavas of the Madhya Sampradaya. In the temple, there are some inscriptions said to be written by Sri Narahari Tirtha, who was in the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains those inscriptions as follows. 1. Sri Purushottama Yati appeared as the instructor of many learned men. He was a very favorite devotee of Lord Vishnu. That's Ramanujacharya, of course. 2. His preaching was accepted throughout the world with great respect. And by his power, he liberated many non-devotees with strong reason and logic. He initiated Ananda Tirtha, Madhvacharya, who after accepting sannyas punished many foolish men with his rod and converted them. For all of Madhvacharya's writings and words are very potent. So that must have been a different Purushottama Yati. Anyway, so he gave people devotional service to Lord Vishnu so they'd be elevated to liberation in the spiritual world. His instructions in devotional service were able to elevate any man to the lotus feet of the Lord. Narahari Tirtha was initiated by him and became the ruler of the Kalinga province. Narahari Tirtha fought with the Shaubaras, who were Chandalas or hunters, and thus saved the temple of Kurma. Narahari Tirtha was a very religious and powerful king. In the Shaka era, 1203, in the month of Vaishaka, in the fortnight of the moon's waxing period on the day of Ekadashi, Narahari Tirtha dedicated to the holy name of Yogananda Nrsingadeva the temple he had constructed on his order. The tablet is dated that very day, corresponding to Saturday, March 29th, 1281 AD. And in fact, I actually visited that temple and saw all those things when I visited the temple. Maybe I could show you a picture of it right now. Okay, here we go. Kurmakshetra. Kurmakshetra. Oops. Kurmakshetra. Hold on a second. There we go. Images for Kurmakshetra. Anyway, I'll just show you one picture. It's in Andhra Pradesh. Let's see. New share. Here's the outside of the temple. It's actually quite an old temple. Unfortunately, some of the carvings on the temple, you'll see, whoops, this is Try to make it a little bigger. Whoop, it's Lord Jagannath. Anyway, let's go back. Go back to the. Yeah. So unfortunately, the carvings on the temple, some of them have been smashed by the Muslims who came in, who smashed the faces and features on some of the carvings. So I visited there several times, and they were very, very hospitable to me. They actually gave me a wonderful reception. They gave me a turban, did an arti, fed all the devotees, kirtan. I mean, they were so receptive to my visit. Very, very respectful to Srila Prabhupada. And at this temple, there's a self-manifested deity of Kurma, the tortoise incarnation of the Lord, as well as a whole garden where they take care of little tortoises. So that's Kurma Kshetra. Now, why was Sripad Ramanujacharya thrown there? There's a very interesting story. He was in Jagannath Puri, and he noticed that the pujaris there and the servants of the deities were actually not so regulated. In other words, they weren't having the arti exactly at time. They were doing things like more spontaneously. And he was thinking, this is not appropriate. And so he thought, let me regulate their deity worship. But their deity worship at that time was on the level of raga nuga bhakti. In other words, just like really spontaneous. So Lord Jagannath didn't want the deity worship to be regulated, and so he threw Ramanujacharya out of Jagannath Puri, and Ramanujacharya landed in Kurmakshetra. And when he landed in Kurmakshetra, he thought he was at a Lord Shiva temple. He began to fast, and then he understood it was the deity of Kurmadev, the tortoise incarnation of the Lord. And he helped establish the deity worship there. Very wonderful place, and it is so beautiful and so isolated, and I really miss the devotees there. Such nice Vaishnavas. South India, such nice Vaishnavas. And as Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami stated, and Prabhupada also stated in his purport, these devotees in that area in South India in general are not like real speculators like they have in Navadvip or smartas. What is a smarta exactly? Someone who's really into the rituals and seeing things on the bodily platform. In other words, a smarta thinks unless you're born in a Brahmin family, then you cannot become a first-class devotee of the Lord. You can serve the devotees, but, cool it. The best you can do is take birth in the Brahmin family in your next life. Up until then, just suffer, sucker. And that's about it. You can't do any sacrifices. Whereas, in our Vaishnava understanding, we understand that anybody in any family, any gender, any nationality, any race can become a first-class devotee of the Lord and become qualified to perform sacrifices. Aho bata swapati to gariyanya jivagre vartate. Namatuvyam te pustapast huver shasna arya brahmanucha nama grananti ete. And that statement is how wonderful it is, how amazing it is that if one is chanting the holy names, he automatically comes to the platform of being a Brahmin, and it's understood that he's actually performed all the preliminary rituals, gone through it all, no matter who but the swapachatogiya garyan. Even if he is born in a family of dog eaters. That's really low class. Of course, I'd like to convey to you that it's even more low class to eat cows than eating dogs. Because a cow is very dear to Krishna. Of course, Krishna loves all living entities. Krishna loves dogs or living entities and dog bodies too. But Krishna has special affection for cows. That's why Krishna is called Gopal Govinda. Go means cow. Also means senses, but in this particular context it means cows. So we love cows. Cows are in the mode of goodness. If you're having some psychological problem, just go hug a cow. Alingana means hug. A cow. And immediately all your problems melt away. It's very easy. We should actually have cow therapy. Prema Veshe Hasi Kandi Nritya Gita Kaila Deki Sarva Lokera Chite Chamatkara Hoila. Well, at this place, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in his usual ecstasy of love of God and was laughing, crying, dancing, and chanting. Everyone who saw him was astonished. Ascharya Shunya Loka Haila Deki Vare Prabodha Rupa Prema Deki Haila Chamatkari. After hearing of these wonderful occurrences, everyone came to see him there. When they saw the beauty of the Lord and his ecstatic condition, they were all struck with wonder. Darshane Vaishnava Haila Bale Krishna Hari Prema Veshe Nachi Loka Urva Vahu Koti. Just by seeing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone became a devotee. They began to chant Krishna and Hari and all the holy names. They all were merged in the great ecstasy of love, and they began to dance, raising their arms. Huribo. Now, why don't we feel like that when we see Lord Chaitanya, when we hear the holy names? Because we have committed offenses, because we have these attachments. You cannot row across the material river to the spiritual side as long as you keep your anchor in the mud. Yuck. Anyway, so that's the reason. So that's also the reason why Prabhupada wanted Gauratai deities, little Gauratai deities, which Prabhupada called happy dolls, distributed while the devotees were distributing books. Because if the devotees had, or people weren't devotees, or people in general, had these happy dolls in their home, and they chanted this mantra which came in a little card that accompanied the happy dolls, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. They become devotees. Prabhupada said you should distribute these happy dolls, little Gauratai deities, along with a little piece of paper saying, before you eat, put some fruit in front of these happy dolls and chant this mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. And that's a very potent way of distributing Krishna consciousness. Krishna Nama Loka Mukhe Shunya Virama Se Loka Vaishnava Kaila Anya Savagrama. Always hearing them chant the holy names of Lord Krishna, the residents of all the other villages also became Vaishnavas. That's the same principle we just mentioned before. Anyone who saw Lord Chaitanya became a devotee. Anyone who saw the persons who saw Lord Chaitanya became devotees. Anyone who saw the person who saw the persons who saw Lord Chaitanya became devotees. And it continued infinitely. Hey Mata Paramparaya Desha Vaishnava Haila Krishna Namamrita Vanyaya Desha Basaila. By hearing the holy name of Krishna, the entire country became Vaishnava. It was as if the nectar of the holy name of Krishna overflooded the entire country. Wow. Katakshane Prabhu Yadi Bhaya Prakashila Kurmera Sevakabahu Samana Karila. After some time, when Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested his external consciousness, the priests of the Lord Kurma deity gave him various offerings. I just remember, when I hear this, I just remember the priests giving me offerings when I went to the Kurma Kshetra deity. Ye Grameyaya Tahanevya Vahara ekadani kahilana kahiva arabara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mode of preaching has already been explained, and I shall not repeat the explanation. In whichever village the Lord entered, his behavior was the same. Kurma name se grame Vaidika Brahmana Bahushrada Bhakje Kaila Prabhura Nimantrana. In one village there was a Vedic Brahmana named Kurma. He invited Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home with great respect and devotion. Gare ani Prabhura Kaila Para Prakshalana Se Jalavamsha Sahita Karila Vakshana. The Brahmana brought Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home, washed his lotus feet, and with his family members drank that water. Wow! Aneka prakara snehe viksha karaila koshanira shishana savamshi kaila. With great affection and respect, that Kurma Brahmana made Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ate all kinds of food. After that, the remnants were shared by all the members of the family. It's a very interesting story. We're going to hear more of it in a second. Ye pada padma tomara brahma dhyana kari se pada padma sakshat aila mora kare. The Brahmana began to pray, "Oh my Lord, your lotus feet are meditated upon by Lord Brahma, and these very lotus feet have come into my home. Mora bhagyera simanaya kahana Ajimora slagyaila janmakuladana." My dear Lord, there is no limit to my great fortune. It cannot be described today. My family, birth, and riches have all been glorified. Kripakara Prabhu More Yantoma Sange Sahitena Pariduka Vishyatarange. The Brahmana begged, "Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord, kindly show me favor and let me go with you. I can no longer tolerate the waves of misery caused by materialistic life." In other words, this Brahmana wanted to take sannyas and leave home. Prabhupada said this statement is applicable for everyone, regardless of how rich or prosperous one may be. Narottam Das Thakur has confirmed this statement. Samsara vishanale divanishiyajale. He states that the materialistic way of life causes a burning in the heart. One cannot make any provisions for the troublesome life of the material world. It is a fact that one may be very happy as far as riches are concerned, and one may be very opulent in every respect, yet one has to manage the vishayas to meet the demands of the body and of so many family members and subordinates, or one has to take so much shelter to minister to others. Narottam Das Thakur therefore prays Vishaya Chadiya Kavi Shuddhahabi Mana. One has to have a purified mind. Thus one must become free from the materialistic way of life. One has to merge himself in the ocean of transcendental bliss without being freed from the materialistic way of life. One has to merge himself in the ocean of transcendental bliss. I skipped a line. In other words, one cannot relish transcendental bliss without being freed from the materialistic way of life. It appears that the Brahmana named Kurma was materially very happy, for he expressed his family tradition as Janma Kula Dana, the wealth of my birth and family. Wow. Now being glorious, he wanted to leave all these material opulences. He wanted to travel with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. According to the Vedic way of civilization, one should leave his family after attaining 50 years of age and go to the forest of Vrindavan to devote the rest of his life to the service of the Lord. Prabhu kahi aichevat kabuna kahiva grihi rahi Krishna nama nirantara laiva. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "Don't speak like that again. Better to remain at home and chant the holy name of Krishna always." This is really a good instruction. It is not advisable in this age of Kali to leave one's family suddenly, for people are not trained as proper brahmacharis and grahastas. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised the Brahmana not to be too eager to give up family life. It would be better to remain with his family and try to become purified by chanting what? The Hare Krishna Maha Mantra regularly under the direction of a spiritual master. This is the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If this principle is followed by everyone, there is no need to accept sannyas. In the next verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advises everyone to become an ideal householder by offenselessly chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and teaching the same principle to everyone he meets. And I want to continue this tomorrow because the next verse is an extremely important verse which Prabhupada and the Acharyas quote constantly. This verse is quoted as an instruction to every one of us. The next verse. So let's wait until tomorrow. And until that time, we will take questions. All right. Let me allow you to unmute yourselves. Okay, who has a question? Either you type it or you. Yes. Kalidas, who accompanied Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is a different. It's not Kalidas. It's not Kalidas. It's Krishnadas. So anyway, okay. So anyway, who has a question? Yeah, it's Kala Krishna Das. It's not. It's Krishna Das. It's not Kali Das. Kali Das is someone different. Okay. Who else has a question?
If no one has, I have question, Maharaj.
Okay. Prangovinda. So what's your question?
Please accept my humble obeisance.
So there's no need to take sannyas.
That's
what
not
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Just stay home. Stane stita, sruti gatam, tan van manobir. Just stay in your home and chant the holy names. So
That's
what does
true.
this need? What does this need to take sannyas?
But Prabhupada also said renunciation is the result of genuine spiritual emotion.
So well, what is real renunciation is what?
Krishna
Real renunciation is yukta vairagya. Yukta vairagya means to use things in Krishna's service. But oftentimes we think of renunciation like falgu vairagya, to give up things that could be used for Krishna. So prapanchakataya budya hari sambandha vashana purityagi
Parittega
vairagya falgu katyate. So we should not engage in falgu vairagya if something can be used for Krishna. So stani stita shuti gatam tan vanmano bir Prangovinda. He doesn't like that instruction.
I like it.
Just stay where you are, but not in Alachua.
Oh, okay. Maharaj, after 1 year, I'm going to follow you.
Aranyatena gantavyam yata aranyam yata graham. Go to the forest.
Where is the forest? You mean Vrindavan?
No, the forest of preaching Krishna consciousness.
Oh.
The forest of New Orleans. The forest of New Orleans.
Okay, I'll follow you, Maharaj. After a year, I'm following you wherever you want me to serve.
Actually, I got news for you. That probably as of this Thursday, I'm going to be the overall GBC for all of South United States.
Yes. Including Alachua?
Including Alachua and everywhere else in the South.
Woohoo!
So,
I like that. No, Maharaj, I feel happy.
Just watch out. Watch out. You can make everybody get up for Mangalarti.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Anyone who doesn't get up for Mangalarti gets their spiritual name taken away from them.
Maharaj, if you can make this, I'll stay at your lotus feet whole life, eternally.
We're gonna go through a Lachwa and actually go with one of these loud bull horns and wake everyone up for Mangalarti. Have a Nagar Kirtan. Jeev Jago.
You'll be dear friend of your some god brother that others are scared of, like Pushkar. They are critic, but I love Mangalarti Maharaj.
Jeev Jago, Gorachanda Bole, Kota Nidra Yaumaya, Pisa Chira Kole. Wake up, sleeping souls. Wake up, sleeping devotees. How long have you been sleeping? In the lap of the witch called Maya. So this is what we'll chant every morning. And
that will be wonderful.
All right. Yeah, I wish I could do that. I can't even do that. I can't even get everybody here to go Mangalarti. How can I do that for everywhere else? Okay, so what's the question?
Maharaj, I have a question, but since we are talking about on 23rd of July, they are celebrating Bhakti Charu Maharaj's first disappearance day. If you will be able to come, I will send you a ticket, or if there a way. 23rd, 24th,
when in July? When?
Guru Purnima, the day he left. It's on 23rd.
Won't be possible because I'll be in Sacramento, California at that time.
We can fly you here and then you can go back.
No. I have a whole preaching program in Sacramento, California that weekend.
Oh, Krishna.
You can be my representative.
Okay, I'll talk about you then.
Yeah, just talk about me.
If there is a possibility, you can send it to me. I can read it to them. There will be 80, 90 devotees coming.
Anyway, I'm coming there the 29th of July for Prabhupada's 50th anniversary of visiting Gainesville.
Oh, Gainesville.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Maharaj, my question is, having darshan of the Lord is built in faith. Faith is built in with the darshan, because you read also that those who don't have faith in his alokik or beautiful Lila will be ruined this life and next life. And the next verse says that everybody was joyful, happy. I'm thinking, like, how do we relate with both?
How do you reconcile the two apparently contradictory statements?
So the faith is built in with darshan, or?
The faith comes by the association. But some people are actually so offensive they cannot develop faith. So some people actually, because of their offensiveness, they don't have faith and they can never achieve the darshan of the Lord. But if one is innocent, like the four Kumaras, when they smelled the tulsi leaves and flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, then they actually experience spiritual realization. But if one is a offender, one will never experience spiritual realization. All right?
Okay.
Stani
Thank you. The text 99, it's so important to me. I'm just asking you a question on that how Srila Prabhupada quote Bhaktivinoda Thakur about this three potency, the essential potency of pleasure potency and cognition potency, or Prabhupada right, I think knowledge potency. Okay, same thing.
Prabhupada only talked about two potencies there, the Chit Shakti and the Ladini Shakti.
But isn't like the initiation makes us pure goodness connection, and without that not possible of other two potency?
I don't understand your question.
Like when a conditioned soul, when I come to take initiation from you who are situated in pure goodness, then that connection draw the attention of pleasure potency and knowledge potency.
When
You are connected, Maharaj. I can see.
when when someone takes initiation from me, they simply desire to eat nice prasadam for the rest of their lives.
That's good too.
I don't know. I mean, the point is, if one comes in contact with someone who is transcendently situated, they become influenced by the Chit Shakti of the Supreme Lord and the Ladini Shakti of the Lord. And so, just like when I first came in contact with Prabhupada in 1971, 50 years ago, before you were born, then at that time I actually felt like I had gone back to the spiritual world. I forgot that I had a material body. I experienced happiness. I was, anyway, transcendently situated just by being in touch with Prabhupada. And then as soon as Prabhupada walked out of the room, I was in Maya again. So anyway, so what is the question?
Question is,
Anyway,
Maharaj, I'm not challenging you, but according to Manibandha Prabhu, your god brother, he told me personally this story. He asked Prabhupada in London that
yeah.
how you are pure devotee, how is possible for me to ever become pure devotee? Prabhupada
What?
said, what am I doing? You are noticing. And I'm engaging all my senses to please Krishna. You can do the same thing. So if I ask you, Maharaj, today, you engage all your senses to please Prabhupada and Krishna. You are pure devotee. Out of humility, you may not agree, but I cannot step out of principle.
I engage all my senses, thinking on how to eat nicely and enjoy this material world. And
You're too humble,
I'm
Maharaj.
I'm taking service from Krishna. All right, let me just answer another question. So
Okay.
here's a question from Sumuk. The Christians bury the body after death, then they wait for resurrection. I also notice in ISKCON we bury sannyasis by using salt. What is the purpose to preserve it? Is it resurrection too? No, no. The Christians bury the body because they think the soul and the body are the same, or the soul is a manifestation of the body, and they think at the time of resurrection the body is going to come out of the tomb and go back to wherever. And we cremate the bodies, generally, most people, because in this way you save land. In this way, you detach the soul in its subtle body from the gross body so the soul can move on. And it's a very practical thing. Why should we preserve the body? The body of a sannyasi is entombed generally because the sannyasi is 100%, hopefully engaged in the Lord's service. So it's like anything, let's say anything Prabhupada used, we consider holy. If you go to Vrindavan, you will see the machine that Prabhupada used to shave himself. You will see remnants of Prabhupada's clothes there. You will see things that Prabhupada used in the bathroom. You'll see Prabhupada's bed there. Anything used by the pure devotee is considered sacred. So the pure devotee is using his body in the service of Krishna 100%. So the description is, I'm trying to remember that verse. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmagno Brahmanaham Brahmatena Gantavyam Brahmakarma Samadhanam. That if one engages something 100% in Krishna's service, that object which is engaged in Krishna's service becomes spiritualized or spiritual. That's a verse from the Bhagavad Gita, in fact. And so the sannyasi Yes, the sannyasi is engaging his body fully in Krishna's service, hopefully, unless he's a Dari sannyasi. You know what a Dari sannyasi is, Pran Govinda?
Yes, he had a
What's
wife and wine.
a Dari sannyasi is one who puts on sandalwood oil on, and he dresses up nicely with beautiful silk sari. No, sorry, no, beautiful silk dhotis, and he combs. He spends 3 hours combing his sika every morning. So that's a Dari sannyasi. So, but normally a sannyasi engages everything in Krishna's service. He makes a full contribution to Brahman. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavir, Brahmagno, Brahmano, Tam. And so his body is considered spiritualized or sacred, so therefore the body is entombed rather than burnt. And but it's not that the sannyasi is not his body. The body is not going to come out of the tomb at a particular point and go back to sannyasi loka in the spiritual world. I do not want to look like this forever and ever and ever in the spiritual world. I do not want my body to come out of the tomb. And some sannyasis, they actually direct their disciples to cremate their bodies. So, for example, in my case, if I pass away in America, I am not going to have my disciples transport my body to India. I'm going to have them cremate it and throw the ashes into either the Ganges or the Yamuna, one of the two. And also make a little memorial samadhi in Mayapur, maybe in Mayapur, or probably at Govardhan. Probably at Govardhan. Anyway, we'll see. We're not this body. We are spirit soul, thank God. So that's why sannyasis' bodies are not cremated. And in fact, in the case of Shripad Ramanujacharya, his body has been preserved in Srirangam. His body is wrapped in cloth, and you can still see him or his body sitting up. And his body is in the temple, in a special place in the temple in Srirangam. So a sannyasi's body is considered sacred. Now, one of my disciples said something really ridiculous. He said, "We still have your teeth, so we're going to make a tooth samadhi, a dant samadhi or something like that." There's a funny story about that. I'll tell you there's a funny story. I have to tell you that story at the end of class. That I was staying with these disciples in Govardhan. And then one tooth became chipped. You understand? A tooth became chipped. And the piece came out of my mouth. And so what happened is I put the piece under my pillow. I don't know if you know about this. And I told them, I said, "I'm waiting for the tooth fairy to give me some money." So the next morning I woke up and the piece of the tooth wasn't under the pillow anymore and there was money there. You understand? That's that's why they have the piece of the tooth. It's a true story. It's actually a true story. It's not just a joke. Okay, thank you very much. We'll
Maharaj,
see every what?
on that sloka, Maharaj, in the purport, there has to be some more edition, editing, because they say that
Oh,
absolute truth covered by Maya is called matter. It's not
your internet
complete sentence.
your internet is actually
424
breaking up.
Bhagavad Gita. It should be
Yeah, I
say
know.
like partial or part of absolute. Oh,
Well, in Prabhupada's original translation, it says one who makes a full contribution to Brahman. In 424 in the Gita, which I can read right now. Just give me one
But in the
second.
purport it says, Maharaj, the absolute truth covered by Maya is called matter. That's not our philosophy.
Absolute truth. What did you say? For
It says the absolute truth covered by Maya is called matter.
well,
It should be part of the absolute truth,
what
not
verse
the
is
whole
that?
absolute truth, like
Hold
part
on,
of
hold
Brahman.
on a second. What verse is that again?
424.
Okay, 424. Person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain. Whoops. Hold on a second. Is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, which the consummation is absolute, not which is offered is of the same nature, which is exactly what I said. This is when everything exists is situated in that Brahma Jyoti. When the Jyoti is covered by illusion, it is called material. It doesn't say when the absolute truth is covered by it. It says when the Jyoti.
Maharaj, below that, if you keep,
So what is your question?
it says here the absolute truth covered by Maya is called matter.
It doesn't say that in my version. Oh, here it is. The absolute truth covered by Maya is called matter. So it could be referring to the Brahma Jyoti.
Correct, but
So
it should be edited like a heart of the Brahma Jyoti is covered by the sweet will of the Lord.
yeah, not the
That
whole, not the whole. When we talk about the absolute truth, Vedanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yad jnanamadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdute. You could actually refer to the part of the Brahma Jyoti as the absolute truth, you know. Or another point. Wait a second. Another point is when one has realization, one's realization is covered by Maya, then one sees matter. Because
yes.
matter, what is matter? Riteratam napratyeta napatyeta chatmani tad vidyadatmana mayam yatabhasham yatavatamam. Actually, matter, Maya or matter, is to see anything without connection to Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
So there's different ways to understand this statement. Anyway, it's not that easiest thing to unpack, but that could be in reference to the vision of the conditioned soul. You understand? Anything seen without relationship to Krishna, Krishna says in the Bhagavatam, Chatushloki verses, is known as my illusory energy, that which is like a reflection that appears in darkness, right?
Yes.
Napratyeta chatmani tadvidyadatmano mayam yatabasha. And actually, I have to end now because it's time for my beauty sleep. So, anyway, we'll see you all later. All glories to His divine grace, Srila Prabhupada. Tomorrow, we'll see everybody same time, same station.